Hi, this is Kevin at the Virtual Planetarium at Raritan Valley Community College. Welcome to our weekly Star Talk. Today we're going to be talking about conjunctions and the reason that Mars missions have been put on pause for the next few weeks. But before we do that, let's talk about our upcoming moon phases. We have a first quarter moon on October 12th. We have the next full moon is going to be on October 20th, and then a last quarter moon on October 28th. Now, we haven't talked about Mars in a long time. The missions we talked about earlier in the summer are still going well, and they're still going strong. The Perseverance rover has collected some samples and sealed them up and cached them for a future mission to hopefully pick them up and bring them back to Earth so scientists can study Mars rocks here on Earth. That would be very cool. And then the Ingenuity helicopter is still doing flights, and right now it's actually helping the Perseverance mission by scanning areas beforehand so scientists can plan the rover's route better and in a safer way. This helicopter was originally meant to only have like 5 flights, but now it's up to 13 flights, and they have no plans of stopping, so that's really, really cool. But all of the Mars missions, including these two, were put on pause a few weeks ago. And that's because scientists can't communicate with the robots on the red planet. Now, this may sound like a big problem, but it's actually something pretty normal. Every 2 years, our view of Mars gets obstructed by a very, very large object in our sky, the Sun. This is something called solar conjunction, and it happens because both Earth and Mars are orbiting around the Sun, and it takes Mars twice as long to go around the Earth. So every 2 years, the Sun lands right in between Earth and Mars. But why is this a problem? Well, for scientists to communicate with the robots on Mars, they need a direct line of sight. And that's because they communicate using radio waves. And radio waves are basically a different color of light, and you can't bend light. So we need to be able to see our target. And if there's something in the way, like say our sun, the waves just can't get past and we lose good communication. This conjunction happened last week around October 8th, but operations were paused well in advance, and they will continue to be paused for a few weeks just to be safe. Okay, but what is a conjunction? What does that mean? We're not talking about the language one, although that one does have a much funner song. No. In astronomy, conjunction is when two objects in the sky share the same right ascension. Okay, and what does that mean? Well, basically it means that they're one on top of the other. Just like here on Earth, we have latitude and longitude to help us tell where we are. They're the coordinates for here on Earth. For the sky, we have something called right ascension and declination. Declination is how high up something is in the sky, and then right ascension is how far east or west they are. So Mars isn't necessarily directly behind the Sun, but since the Sun is very much in the line of sight, it can block some communication or interfere and mess up the signal. And that can be a problem. So that's why scientists stop all communications for a few weeks before conjunction and a few weeks after, to be sure that the Sun isn't going to mess with these radio waves and mess up the rover and tell it to drive off a cliff or something. That would be bad. Now, speaking of conjunction, Venus and the bright star Antares will also be in conjunction this week. On October 16th, you'll be able to see them closest in the sky, and this is what we're looking at right now. Again, Venus you can see shortly after sunset before it gets completely dark towards the southwestern part of the sky. And here we have Venus, the really bright one. And Antares is a pretty bright star, but you still have to wait for it to get a little bit darker to be able to see it, which means that they're going to be pretty low in the sky. So you have to be able to see this, you have to go somewhere where you have a pretty clear view of the western horizon. So be sure there's no trees or buildings in your way so you can fully enjoy the conjunction between Venus and Antares, which, as we learned in one of our previous videos, belongs to the constellation of Scorpius, and it is also known as the heart of the Scorpion because it's right in the middle of it. So that'll be pretty cool to see. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Hope you learned something new. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. We're going to be putting out a new video every week. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like. And thanks again for joining us, and hope you have a great week.